Rolling.
I knew. I thought Tay was gonna do it, but you did it.
Do you guys even watch wrestling?
Yeah. Ever watch what?
Wrestling.
No.
Dude, I went to WrestleMania Revenge as a kid.
I must have been overstimulating.
It was like the knockoff WrestleMania. It was like they did WrestleMania.
No, they always had event things.
And then like after that, they would do like Revenge Tour.
I always want to do SummerSlam. Remember that?
Dude, I remember like my friend in high school, he would rent every single one of them and I'd always go over to his house. And then one year but for WrestleMania, I would do a yearly thing where I would have all my friends over to watch like WrestleMania.
Krypton. Black Krypton. What do you mean rent?
You had to rent it. It was pay-per-view.
Oh.
It was like a boxing match, dude.
No, I thought you meant like you would go to Blockbuster and like rent out
Blockbuster. Say it again.
Blockbuster.
Stop it.
God.
Blockbuster.
I had to realize what he was saying. He's saying Blockbuster, right?
Dude, you're saying it with such an accent. It's ridiculous. It's like you.
Blockbuster. Blockbuster.
Block.
What do you mean? It's Blockbuster.
You saying Blockbuster.
What's your shirt say right there?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's Blockbuster.
Block.
Buster.
Say Glock.
Yeah,
Okay, so now say block.
Say
now say Buster. Say Buster. Okay, so now put it together.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
No, it's not. He's doing it on purpose. He's got to be doing it on purpose.
I'm not.
Stop saying it like that. Say block. Okay, all right, say block.
Now
say Buster.
Now
say it together.
Blockbuster.
All right, it's a little bit.
It's a little bit better.
Buster Blader.
Why are we having a fucking like cool?
Because you were saying it's weird. No, I was like, I'm not gonna let him pass with this.
He's trying to get you back from last week.
Yeah, that's right.
77.
This is 77.
That's what you about to say.
Thank God.
We do this every week, and then we never remember what was the last
track. Fucking, I've edited so many of us. Some of our conversations started to blend in together. To me,
what do you mean?
It's like we'll have conversations on the podcast, and I think that we have them on the one that we just recorded, and then I go back and it's on 2 podcasts before.
I was listening to the Halloween episode last night. That episode's top tier. The candy episode.
Yeah, that shit was awesome.
Top tier episode.
I feel so lazy doing a tier list episode though. I feel like that's such an easy.
They're super fun though.
They are super fun because then you just have a straight up argument over how different everything is.
I remember the cartoon tier list started some controversy.
I think every time we've done it, it's always started like there's always like a hard divide.
People go like, "What the fuck?"
It was controversial. Theme song.
That is controversial.
Fuck yeah, Tay. Awesome. Anyways, welcome back to the Drunken Ship Podcast, everybody. This is episode 77. Today we're going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels. How good is it? So, how we doing, boys?
So we're gonna do pretty much just a whole breakdown of like, because context here, we've nonstop been playing it ever since its release.
Yeah, I played it like
a random release back in January 18. They kept teasing us all the way up until it.
Yeah.
And they just kept releasing like, okay, here's a 2-minute video.
Here's how the shop works. Here's how the solo deck works or whatever the fuck.
Here's what the menu looks like. Here's what the credits look like of this game. And then they just randomly out of nowhere just kind of just dropped it.
Yeah, I told you guys, it was like midnight, right? Or some shit.
Yeah, you messaged us like, what
hey
the
guys,
fuck? Check Twitter.
So for the longest, I swear to God, you had to pay for this game. I didn't know it was free to play.
Oh,
yeah. We
didn't I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I swear, like the demo. Like, wait, really? No, it was actually a fucking free to play game.
The whole shit.
Nice.
I remember even seeing the YouTube channel Konami EU, the European Konami channel, post in one of their videos, the last video they posted before the release, say that on January 18th they were going to show how dueling actually worked. They were gonna post a video. It's like, hey, this is how you duel and whatever. And then January 18th they just fucking released the game.
When it come out, what day was it? What, Tuesday?
It was January 18th. I think it was a Tuesday, but it wasn't actually playable until...
It's a silent drop, actually.
Yeah, because I don't think they meant to like have a big media about it. I think they were meant to drop it and then
I think I want to say it came out Tuesday because
It was last week, right?
I think it was Tuesday because I remember no one could play it that night, but I woke up on Wednesday because I had to go because I had to go to work.
That's right.
And I woke up early and I was like, let me just see if I could and I got on there and started looking through the menus and stuff. I didn't play anything. I think I played like a solo match and then it was all from there.
As of, how you want to do this? 'Cause I want to say the game's apparently is successful too.
Oh, dude, the game has been incredibly well received.
Someone tweeted got 4 million downloads or some shit.
Something like that. It's been climbing the Steam charts.
Yeah. We'll get down into that because it's a little bit later. But so just to kind of give you guys some context, I'm gonna just run through. If you have no idea what Yu-Gi-Oh is, it's just a trading card game. So it was launched by Konami back in 1999 in Japan, and then in March 2002 it came to North America.
Damn, I'm 4 years older than Yu-Gi-Oh.
And then that is what the creation of the TCG is what we know as here in America.
Right.
The ruling for that. That was how that was created. So pretty much it is a top selling card game in the world of actually Guinness World Records in July of 2009 had said it had sold over 22 billion cards worldwide.
It's more popular than Magic.
And then
is that counting? So do you know if the statistic is like 20 billion cards in general, or is that counting resales or just like straight out the factory? I'm assuming straight out the factory.
Straight out the factory. Japan sold 25.2 billion cards globally since 1999.
Wild. 1999. That's the Matrix came out, right?
I think so.
And then so for 2002, the card release wasn't actually by Konami. It was actually by Upper Deck Entertainment. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But then Konami, or they bought the rights in 2004, $75 million.
That's
sidetrack a bit. Is that the reason why? Because I tweeted about this. So Konami on unofficial product, like their games, they don't like using Dark Magician or Blue Eyes original art, the one we all know.
There may be like license.
Yeah, they use that tablet ugly ass art.
That could be the reasoning why we get tablet art, Blue Eyes and Dark Magician.
Are they on the game you have on Xbox, the original art? They won't release that art.
No, it's tablet. It's always been tablet art for like the least couple years. But I can probably tell you why when that changed was. So when I don't know when tablet art came out. So tablet art, just to give some context for that, it's just a alternate version. It's an alternate art version for Dark Magician and Blue Eyes.
It comes from the Lost Temple of Memories or something like that, or like the Tablet of Lost Memories. That in the anime is the thing that gave Atem back his memories.
Right,
or some shit like that, yeah.
I think that's Konami's Dark Magician Blue Eyes art, official art. I think the original one's not theirs or some shit. Right?
That might be the case. I would love to see the licensing of it.
The original, because it there's a slight variation. I mean, Upper Deck Entertainment, they had to censor a couple cards. Actually, not a couple cards, just to say. I say a lot of cards they've had to censor for the North America release.
I forgot about this. Yeah.
Just like, death.
I think Dark Magician Girl has breast in her.
Yeah,
they've censored like a lot of cleavage. They've censored.
Say that one more time.
Cleavage.
Cleveland
Cleavage.
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 Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. But the agreement between Upper Deck Entertainment and Konami was due to expire in 2010. Konami issued a press release in December 2010, December 10th, 2008, stating it was retaking full control of all aspects of the TCG, including distribution, customer service, sales, gameplay, and organized play, which is like tournament play.
It's a distribution moment.
Distribution. God damn.
You give me shit for Blockbuster.
You're right.
Shit for everything else.
You spelled Kyber wrong, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know how to spell that. Kabar. And then so I think I didn't write this in my notes here, but I think Upper Deck Entertainment countersued Konami over that, and I think Konami ended up paying a hefty chunk for the rights again. But
Upper Deck sounds very familiar. I don't know why.
Upper Deck Entertainment was the original like distribution.
Did they have anything else in the States?
They just had all the licensing, and they probably did that. I think they also had control over the anime and everything. They're probably the ones who worked with.
Well, the original
Toei.
the anime, when the anime got dubbed here, it was the 4Kids dub.
Yeah,
And that's another entity altogether.
right.
And they destroyed the dub. They
That could be a whole different episode.
yeah,
honestly.
they destroyed the dub. They censored the shit out of the episodes. So it was like not great.
But
the 4K dub, that's what people your knowledge come from.
People like it,
Yeah.
but it censored so much of the show and it changed so much of the like Joey Wheeler, like that Italian persona that we know him
Brooklyn
for.
Boy, yeah.
Absolutely just from the dub. Like doesn't exist anywhere
Joe
else.
Naruchi.
Yeah.
That's his name in the Japanese version.
What's it
Joe
called?
Naruchi.
Joe Naruchi.
Or Aibo. He call him other me or some shit.
Joey Wheeler.
Uh,
Anyway, keep going.
So the first release was The Legend of Blue Eyes was the first set to be released in Japan. But a lot of people's first introduction into Yu-Gi-Oh! Here in the States were the Yugi and Kaiba starter decks.
I was a Yugi guy. I was a Yugi.
I ended
structure
up,
guy.
I remember, so after the Yugi and Kaiba starter decks came out, there was a Pegasus and a Joey. And I remember I bought all of them. I had all of them because I remember having all the main cards. All
I
the starter
have
decks.
the original Dark Magician.
Yeah,
Apparently it's like $800.
you should. Are you gonna hold on to it a lot
I don't
longer?
want to sell that.
Yeah. Feel you.
It's
You have to get it graded.
well, yeah.
Apparently grading.
Grading is expensive.
Yeah, apparently. Well, it used to not be. Apparently, it used to be fairly cheap, but I guess so many people are sending in so many cards, they've upped their prices for grading now. So I guess it's deterrent. Random people sending in a card that's going to be a grade 2, and then it's not going to be worth nothing. But if you have a grade 10 or 11, it's going to be like you're looking at it probably like a 500 to.
Dude, if you have a 2, you send a 2 to be graded. Fuck you.
Well, maybe you didn't know it was a 2, but then you send
Dude,
it
you
out.
would know that it's a 2. Wouldn't it just be like fucking almost falling apart?
You think maybe like,
Just like
this
fucking-
might be like some
It's got
worth
like a
some money.
staple in it when you
Well,
send it out.
One of my fathers had like a $4,000 worth card, I think.
I saw that. Yeah, that was fucking
Holy
crazy.
shit, dude. I don't know the condition he had it in, but like it's mint.
See,
He's
unless
set, yeah.
well, you can call it mint, but like mint is really like it's fresh out the pack, and then you double sleeve it, and
No,
then
mint, I mean it's not damaged at all. Like,
I think there's some rules.
No.
It's all in the grading.
Mint is literally just like not damaged.
Damaged.
Like it looks like it came out of the box.
it can be old as that it be, it's not damaged.
But even if it has like, I've been watching a lot of videos on this. Even if it has like the weird, like a little white, where just people could hold it, or if there's any warping from just not being sealed up.
I mean, yeah, but that's damage.
that's not mint.
Yeah, but that's damage.
That's lightly. I don't know the grading
it's like a
policy
mint, yeah.
of it, but it's like very hard to have like near mint or mint, or it's no. Well, really, it's near mint. It's never mint. Mint is like that fresh out the pack. Someone put it right into a card sleeve after they opened it.
Yeah.
So, it's all like up in the air.
It's all this is the part of Yu-Gi-Oh that like really pisses me off. Like the minting, the rarities and all that kind of
Well,
shit.
it's a different form of it.
Because
It's
it
like
just gets
I
so
prefer
fucking
mint over rare.
because now because really we're in the market.
yeah.
This is what this is.
It pisses me off to no end because this is the kind of shit that I think, and I think we'll talk about this, but this is the kind of shit that leads to like the pretentious gatekeeping of the game, like people that have been playing for 20 years.
There's people that want this pretty decks. I've seen that over the years playing.
There's people that what?
Just want pretty decks.
Yeah, I just want everything,
Just have
every
it used-
card to be foil or
I'm gonna
holographic or whatever.
Come back to this when we talk about Master Duels.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say about that. Anyway, let's just get into Master
Yeah.
Duels. So we're kind of just like prolonging it. So guys, we're gonna break down Yu-Gi-Oh for you guys. The one what kind of led Master Duels itself. Tay, do you wanna kick off here?
You can read that yourself. I got it.
I've been reading the whole day. I get my whole spiel.
I'm good. I'm not gonna read your shit. I'm gonna read.
That's fine.
Master Duel is a digital free-to-play game available. It's on platforms.
It's pretty much on everything.
So
yeah.
it's on
Kids-
Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Switch, and now
about-
since like last week, it's on mobile now.
It's not still on mobile, but it's coming out on mobile.
Is it on
It's
full
doing a beta
Xbox
on,
One?
on mobile. It's on everything, man.
Everything.
Yeah.
So it came out January 18th, I believe. Yes. Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as of now, it has 4 million downloads apparently. A lot of positive feedback from the game as well. It's Konami's official
Response?
to something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, or what's
It
the
is.
Magic
It's
game?
in a direct. So Master Duels is a direct response to YG Go Pro. What you don't know is YG Go Pro is a fan made game where pretty much where players have been testing out an online version of the game. Because before you got like Master Duels, we had Legacy of the Duels, which is just a single player game. You could play online, but it didn't have like an updated ruling.
Yeah.
It didn't have like crossplay.
Was in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
You could just play against people, but the game was pretty stale. And the original the first Legacy of the Duels came back in like 2014 or 15 or something like that. Been out for a while, and then they had a Links update, which is just a release of the game, which is updated cards.
Yeah, they called it Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution.
And then that came in like 2016 or something like that.
No, that was like 2018.
Yeah, 2018. What they're doing with Master Duel is the right way to do Yu-Gi-Oh games. Keep updated. I wonder how long they're going to support the game. Because the game, I think...
Well, I can tell you why. I can tell you what this is exactly.
Wait, hold on, though. But I was going to say, so this game was in development probably way ahead before COVID.
Probably since MTG Arena.
But over time, there's this response to the game where there's kind of making this game a counter to, since COVID happened, they want this to be like, here's your way to play Yu-Gi-Oh with people across the world or friends, because COVID happened. They kind of use that as marketing for this game. I think they did this for, what is it, YCS? It's a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament?
I don't know. They did like a remote Yu-Gi-Oh for sure at some point.
Yeah, they said like, don't worry about that this year. Worry about Master Duel, so you still can do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I can tell you exactly where this came from. I don't know if it's been in development before COVID, but this is a direct response, and they've used the same format as well. Is MTG Arena?
Yeah. And Hearthstone. Hearthstone was the original card game that did this format.
Yeah. So they went from Hearthstone, which was just a mobile game, and then MGT Arena was a solid answer for online play for Magic. So but why I say this is why they took this directly from them is because there's no fan game. They can make direct money out of this game, and then so with the pandemic going on and everything, they've switched to using Arena as one of their main sources. So they still do physical play.
Yeah, but Arena has been the remote Magic
right.
play. Like that's how we play Magic now.
Yeah,
is through MTG Arena. It's a lot quicker. The advantage of it is that it's a lot easier to spot cheaters. It's a lot easier for the gameplay mechanics to be understood to an audience, and it's a lot easier to commentate on it because all of the information kind of gets recorded immediately as you play.
And easy to update the list and all that shit.
And it's super easy to update the listing, and then the same like card pack economy works on either digital or physical.
Right.
And actually, you're kind of double dipping because a lot of your players are going to be both a physical and a digital player. So you actually make a lot of money out of cards when you release a digital game like this.
So for Yu-Gi-Oh, what they've been doing for remote duels, which has been pretty shitty, honestly. So they didn't have any digital formatting to do that. So what they've been doing is using webcams to point down at players' decks to do their YC goes. Or what is it?
The YCS?
YCS for their competitions.
They've been doing it all of this, though. They've been doing it for years.
Have they?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
But that it's just not. I watched some of it and it sucks. It's
with the
not
right
great.
setup, it can totally work.
They have like referees and shit around them, and it's camera down. It's a really good looking camera and stuff, but it's just honestly, I prefer the traditional way.
Yeah.
Over digital.
Oh yeah, like sit across from a table from somebody.
Like you don't want to have a
because they need a ref right there too. You could easily cheat like that.
Pretty sure like poker fans don't want to play a digital game.
That's actually the same way. It's like they'll play digital poker, but like they would love go to a casino. Yeah. I play poker digitally and I have a lot of fun with it.
But is there something there about like, hey, me and you competitive players playing in person? Yeah.
But Master Duels is the straight up like, okay, Konami was probably sitting down in like a board meeting like what can we do? We're gonna just take what we know from Arena and we're just going to throw that we're just going to make a Yu-Gi-Oh version of it, but we're going to add a little flair to it. We're going to add some animations. We're going to add some
it's a straight
variety.
to the point game.
Yeah. So Master Duels is a straight up response for
a lot of things.
A lot of problems that they've had for we're doing remote duels. So now they can use Master Duels as a new platform altogether to do tournaments. Yeah. And then but now, though, it's evolved. I don't think they realized how big it was going to be.
Yeah,
I think they knew.
I don't know because as someone who looks into Yu-Gi-Oh every often once in a while. You don't really see Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is really weird because I never seen, despite being a popular series and game, never seen that much people talk about it before.
Right.
And I don't think they'll think. I thought it was targeted to people like me and you, like hardcore people, not like anime fans and casuals.
Not for you guys at all.
Because I mean, like, because I'm someone who loves Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
Yeah.
And this is basically their official version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro with some setbacks and some better things. We'll talk about later, but I don't think because it's not some game you pick up for your kid.
Yeah. Of course,
it is not. It's literally just grown man's Yu-Gi-Oh! I hate saying that, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Not that anime games they did in the past. Like,
yeah, this is not. You're going in for. This is competitive.
It is Magic
This is
Arena.
a PvP.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! As a live service.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Hearthstone. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Arena.
Yeah.
So the response of it is really surprising to me. Like, holy shit, a lot of people came out of not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or competitive people that are going into the game playing and getting their decks and shit. It's like people just jump shit from Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro to play official.
That's a super that's a super weird thing about it is this was just a platform so they could redo a lot of like they could staple in this is where we're gonna play our competitions now.
Yeah.
And this is where hardcore players could come in and like test stuff.
See, I entirely disagree with that. I don't think that was I think, was it a response to MTG Arena? Yes. Was it a response to being able to do remote tournaments? Yes. Is the primary goal to target you people, the hardcore players? Absolutely not. There is a market for you guys there. There's a spot for you guys there. But this is an attempt at recapturing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Audience from scratch now. A lot of the people that are playing are not people that are like you and Tay, or even me. But I'm a mid-level player. I'm the Joey Wheeler of this fucking group. But the game is not for people like us. We play it and we enjoy it because it's Yu-Gi-Oh! But the game exists as a format to introduce people to the game so that they stay on that platform and spend their money on the digital platform if they're not physical players anymore. If they're not physical players to begin with. That's what the game is targeted towards casual and competitive play. And competitive play is what you guys are going to get out of it during the ranked duel system and whatnot.
But there's not even like a casual.
I was going to mention that later on, though.
Yeah, the fact that there's not a casual playlist except other than like playing with your friends or creating the casual thing is like the below the ranked, the hosting room. You can host a room and then people will just jump in. Mm-hmm. So like there is a casual element to it. It's just not labeled as casual.
You gotta look at how it's the promo art too. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Jaden on that promo art. It's literally a Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster.
Yeah.
That means they're taking it. I know that's weird, but they're taking it.
Well, I mean, like serious. when you go to the cover of it, it's Blue Eyes Alternate Dragon. It's like Shadal. Yeah. It's meta deck.
It's like meta cards. Like
The target is so that they can target it. They can create a competitive scene digitally, the same way that MTG Arena has created a competitive scene digitally.
Yeah.
But the game is not, in my opinion, built out for people that are like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro players or people that love that ecosystem. I think like the game is built out to be a happy medium for every type of player that exists in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ecosystem.
I partially agree, but I disagree considering the fact that the game, when leading to this, they have a lot of things missing in terms of other things.
I don't know if it's just they wanted to get the game out.
See, I would agree with you if they had like a casual play.
But they do though.
Or no, they don't.
But they don't have but you would have to have, if you wanted a casual play, you would have to have a
set up yourself and something.
Right, you would have to have a friend to do it with. There's no one that just randomly.
You can literally open a room and people will join the room.
No,
like randomly.
I'm talking about like cards specifically too. Like play OG.
Oh, like an old classic format.
That should be the thing if they want to bring in classic. Because I seen
that's if they want to bring in. Well, there's a separation here for it.
There's also a thing. I'm not talking classic Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm talking new Yu-Gi-Oh. players.
Right. That's what I want to break into. If they want to get nostalgia players, they would just do a classic format. Yeah. For new players, I would say that like the way that they have the card system formatting and like all the jewels that you normally you just get immediately right off the bat and everything, and just doing the solo modes, those are definitely for new players because new players will when you first jump into the game, you're gonna have a wide section. You're gonna get a ton of jewels. You're gonna get a ton, and you're just gonna have a lot. You'll be able to make whatever deck you want right off the bat. So you can make that best deck that you want possibly.
Yeah.
Solo mode is basically telling you here's the variety of cards in the game,
And here's how they work.
and it's basically essentially a long tutorial.
It is a tutorial, but there is I would say I don't want to necessarily say that it is
which
like
sucks. I don't like that story solo.
Well-
shit. It's so boring.
It is. It just takes a long time.
but like it's hard. There's because usually normally with Yu-Gi-Oh, they'll hold your hand like crazy when they're doing Legacy of the Duelist. They hold your hand so hard because they just wonder like this is you're getting brand new. You're teaching with Master Duels. It's like the first 2 matches that you do. It like holds your hand kind of. But then, like, once you start playing it, the game is actually it has a higher level.
It's playing like
It's like, okay, good, you got it, get in, go. Like, let's go. Like here's how. So necessarily, I wouldn't say it's a introduction for new players, sort of. It's not, I don't think it's direct.
Here's the reason why I think it's an introduction to new players. It's because when you're doing the solo content, the game will so purposefully tell you how the mechanics of that deck work. And it's introducing you to like what a meta gameplay looks like.
Right.
As a new player, if you walk into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels and you play the first like 6 solo missions, you'll have a great understanding of how a meta deck works.
Yeah.
And then that way you can like, this is how it works. And every time that you beat a solo mission, you get a new structure deck from that archetype. And so you as a player can start to experiment with the same archetype that you just beat. And then go into rank and go like, this is how this works. And then it's just a gateway into the crafting and into the card pack situation that you go. So that is where I think the game really succeeds, is getting new players into it. Because the thing that happens with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is massively overwhelming if you haven't played in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff to go through.
Right.
That when like if I were to sign in as like in my current level as a player, if I were to go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, I would have no idea what the fuck to do because the UI is bad. They don't explain the UI. The cards are like everybody has access to.
Well,
like,
granted, we should say this is a fan-made game. This is not for the faint of heart. This is like you have to go through. Actually, you have to jump through a lot of hoops just to get on there. You have to go to
because Konami keeps trying to shut it down.
No,
Yeah.
they never shut it down ever.
They never shut it down?
Never, because it's not doing
I
anything.
don't know.
They're
There's
not
like
making profit off
14
it.
of them.
I heard a lot of
It's a variation of
threads.
them. The best one I'm using.
Yeah, I think that's mainly because they get shut down because
No.
it's illegal as hell to have that game.
No, it's not. You're not making profit out of it. It's just a fan game.
No, but it's still illegal.
illegal. You're infringing on the copyright.
It's been this since high school. It's always been.
But there are like 12 of them.
Yeah, because people make the variation of their ones. They're still essentially the same thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, there's a shit ton of them. They never got shut down because of Konami ever.
Let me see. Not because of Konami, but I remember hearing a couple of threats about Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro being shut down.
If they make profit, if you can make a fan game of anything, but you make profit off of it,
I don't know. I mean, Nintendo will shut you down.
True. That's not true. As long as you're infringing.
Yeah, you can't make a Mario homemade Mario game.
Sega does it. Sega say I don't give a shit. They let you make your fan games.
Yeah, but that's Sega.
That's
what I'm saying.
That's not Konami. That's not Hungry Konami.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you can make fan games and not make profit of it. You're still fine. That's like me making a YouTube video, Avengers.
So this is an article in 2016. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, the popular PC and mobile-based fan-made dueling client for the series, is no more. Today, the main site states that the free app is no longer available for unspecified legal reasons, and that it would appear is normally such a cease and desist letter. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
Which one?
Just Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro client. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
Was it? There's variations of it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter though. It's still it's the
original Yu-Gi-Oh!
There's different things because you have to keep making a different one. It's like when like a anime site that you're using gets shut down and then they have to
put up a mirror. And
then there's a new one that gets pulled up, but you have to instead of like anime thing, it goes IOPT something else.
I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro way after that.
Yeah, because they keep
making it, but they're not legally sanctioned, and Konami has the right to shut them down every single time that they pop up. It's like the Pirate Bay.
I don't know why. That's weird, because that's where they usually didn't do that. So
no. They definitely,
they've always done it.
They definitely have. That's why we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, and then we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 2 now.
Dueling Network still exists. I've been playing it since 2011.
The fact
and that's a website.
We're not disagreeing with you that they still exist. I'm just saying that Konami.
Now, the only reason they would shut it down now because Master Duel is a thing. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. No, they will always shut it down because they're infringing on their copyright of the game.
But they're not making profit of it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Not legally. Not legally. It's shitty, but legally it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just because they're not making money doesn't mean it's not like Konami doesn't want them to fuck with their game. Because it's essentially you could take players away from their money cut.
From their fan base.
Yeah, because
they wasn't losing money though at all.
Dueling Network was shut down in July 5, 2016 for the same reason.
So they recently did this, exactly. So
it doesn't matter because it's recent.
No,
it's just like it's always been.
They doing it because they never lost money from it. They always still making.
I'm sure they were losing money from
not at all.
Legacy of the Duelists. They wasn't losing money from their main franchise.
No, they make money from the cards
itself.
Links. They make money from the cards itself, not the actual games. They made to make money off the digital games, but the cards give them revenue.
I don't know.
They weren't losing money. They just didn't want people to make those games right there. They were free to play.
Yeah, they were losing money by virtue that people were getting their Yu-Gi-Oh fix on these fan-made games, so they weren't.
Because why would you go pay money when you can just search up the card for free and then play it like online? That's what I'm saying. That's directly why. I mean, that's why you don't want to play Master Duels, because you have to pay for it.
No, well, I was going to go into that too. So, Master Duel is not a bad game by any means. This is a good Yu-Gi-Oh game. But if people play Yu-Gi-Oh Pro, there's a lot of big YouTubers that makes this shit popular. Played it for years. That's their go-to Yu-Gi-Oh game. Yu-Gi-Oh Pro, Dev Pro, Ev Pro, all that shit. So, and I see a lot of criticism of this too. It wasn't just me, but jumping to Master Duel was kind of like, it's Yu-Gi-Oh Pro essentially, but it's like there's no tag duels, there's no search up cards the way you want it for free. There's no casual servers or whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff you want, you can all do it in Dev Pro, Yu-Gi-Oh Pro. They didn't do this in the official release. I respect the game. It's a very friendly free-to-play game compared to something like fucking Warframe. Warframe's a great game, but the free-to-play aspects of it is fucking awful. You can't progress in the game. This game lets you progress, but it's kind of like you gotta
grind. Well, it's the format of like how they do gacha games. Like they'll give you, so essentially the first 2 decks that you build, you're gonna have plenty of gems and stuff to do to build that stuff. You don't have to pay actual cash. But when you want to go into and make 3 or 4 decks, when you get to that 3rd or definitely the 4th deck, you're gonna have to start probably shelling out money or spending ridiculous amounts of time to play. It's like any other game now with not necessarily loot boxes, but they use gems.
It's a loot box game. In a way.
Yeah. They can't do legally loot box anymore, but
the crafting system is okay. It's not the fucking best thing ever. It's okay.
I think it makes sense. At least.
It makes sense, exactly. But my problem is the way they got ultra rares in the game. Mm-hmm. Way too damn goddamn complicated. It takes too much. They need to at least make it a little bit easier for you to get ultra rares.
Okay.
Because on the rich ultra rares give you 30 plus.
If you pull 3 ultra rares from a pack and you want to break those down to get points, it takes 3 ultra rares to make 1 ultra rare, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. That's kind of hard if you run. So you run into the issue where are you playing an expensive deck? And by expensive, I mean
and the game's aware of that.
There's a lot of ultra rares. I did though. I will side note this. I did take a survey. I don't know if everyone's going to get a survey or not. I did take a survey, and it did ask me how do you feel about the crafting system?
Yeah, it also asked about fast animations too, literally the day before.
Yeah, we'll get into that too after this. But the crafting and everything like that, how do you feel about that? How did you feel like you got enough, or you think it's too expensive?
I feel like it's totally fine.
It depends.
I think it's fine. I would like to add though that so you get so it goes normal, rare, super rare, and then ultra rare. Ultra rare are always the best. Best, and they could or
their legacy cards.
Their legacy cards. That's true, but I will note that there are certain cards that they know that are going to be they're in meta decks that need 3 copies because they're spell cards that are not necessarily would make sense to be a rare ultra rare or something like that, but they're considered ultra rare because they know players going to need those cards.
Real life methods to it. So here's my problem with that. I want the game to give me options of rarities. I don't want to have to pay an ultra rare for a fucking effect veiler. I got a common one in my fucking deck. That doesn't make the game should give you options to choose what rare you want. If you want ultra rare, and not only that, ultra rares or rarities in general in a digital game does not make any sense.
Wait, what are you talking? No. What are you talking about?
I'm saying
you can't buy. So I know what you're talking about. Like when it has shatter art on it, right?
Yes.
That you don't pay for that. You pull those.
No, I'm saying the game doesn't give me an option. I have to only pull the ultra rare version. That's not right.
But no, like a card could be look common, but it's considered an ultra rare because it's just a good card in general. You're not paying for the shatter art.
No, the game it does that. It's the game.
I've never had the
Tay wants the option to select which card is considered an ultra rare.
Rarities,
so like he wants a Dark Magician that's a normal.
Yeah.
Versus a Dark Magician that's a ultra rare.
Because it's a digital fucking game. It does nothing to the game at all.
The only thing
it's balancing. It's balancing.
In a way, it makes sense in real life because it's prettier. Okay, and it's more worth. But in a digital game, does not make any sense.
I disagree. I disagree because in a digital game, what you're limiting as far as rarity is not necessarily the look of the card. What you're limiting, because a digital game has unlimited stock of a card. So once you pull that card, you can put it in any deck that you want. You can build any copy of any deck that you want. So like it's an infinite copy of that card. You have it. So an ultra rare, what it's doing, it's balancing how difficult it is to get these cards that are considered highly effective at competitive play, or legacy cards that are particularly strong and have like strong support now. They're saying, okay, we're going to make these cards harder for you to get so that you're not immediately dominating the entire field. And so you have to make a decision when you're building your deck. You have to make a decision of going like, okay, I want to run all of these cards, but these are ultra rares. I don't necessarily have the resources to pull those. What can I do? It just encourages creative deck building and balances out the ranked arena.
I disagree.
Yeah,
it's like if you apply that logic to real life, that makes the same thing. Like we have options in real life to choose what rarity you want of a certain card.
Yeah, but that's assuming that you're buying singles.
Yeah, exactly. That's still the thing.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! The Master Duels has no single system. There's no singles.
What do you mean?
You can craft your cards.
You can craft a single.
But you can't buy a single straight off the shop.
You can't
buy rarity points.
So like the way what you're proposing, I know what you're getting at.
They're doing it because it's a free to play game. They're trying to get your money out of you.
That's the whole point of free to play. But like what you're considering is like there's the base game. The cards are all common. They don't have shiny names. They don't have shatter art over the main art.
No,
they don't have any of that. But when it's all common like that, they're still going to be ultra rares. They're only using ultra rare to describe like the card is good.
Yeah, ultra rarity is
how good the card it is. Yeah,
that's fucking not true. Because like ultra rare Dark Magician.
Ultra rare or legacy cards. Blue Eyes is an ultra rare.
It's just how they.
Yeah, no, that's not right at all. Because it's like, why? That serves nothing at all. It doesn't. It just doing it just how
it balances the game out.
It's not balancing out the game out.
It balances the game out because when you make something more limited to obtain, it makes it so that you either have to work for it, so that you put hours into the game, or you have to not use it. Essentially, you can't buy rarity card points. You can only pool. And if you're a player that's going to be very specific about what cards you're going to get, you're going to open 10 packs and you're like, oh, I don't need that card. Let me dismantle it and get the points that way. It's a way to balance out which resources are available to the players. So like if you want a really good card that's an ultra rare, you either have to shell out the points or pull it from the pack. So it balances out the game in the ranked because not everybody has access to the same powerful cards.
That's not the player's problem. That's Konami's problem. That's not. They shouldn't balance fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, games need to be balanced. This is game design.
It's giving player options. What creative deck building comes from.
But the creative deck building comes from the ability of like having limited resources. If everybody had their cards, yeah, there are some players that are going to excel at building out of the sandbox. But the majority of players, the majority of the player base, follows a basic game design principle that whatever the easiest strategy is the easiest strategy that's going to be played. And when that happens, your game is fundamentally broken.
No.
It is, because there's no progression. There's no reward.
Yeah, it is. The reward is learning how to make a better deck.
But that's not the reward that most players strive for.
That's not the game's problem or a company's problem.
It is.
That is a company's problem. Most can't make money.
Yes, they can. Play the fucking game and learn. That holding your fucking. That's why.
A free to play game with unlimited cards that you don't have to pay any money for. They're building it for free. You
answered my fucking question. They taking money from you.
That's the point. What are you talking about?
That's the point. What makes it Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro a great game compared to this one?
But you get a shitty UI if you don't pay money. If someone built it for free.
Shitty.
There's also you can make donations to that.
It's a horrible UI.
Listen, if they make to counter that ultra rare shit, because it's really fucking stupid. Doesn't make any sense.
Totally disagree with you.
They need to give you option to just select the rarity, but if the ultra rare is more, probably can get more crafting points from that. So if I have a common dark magician, okay, it's not worth shit. But if I have ultra rare option, I can use it for crafting more.
I would agree.
That's a better fucking
have
option.
But it's not.
They don't have that.
They have that in classification. So if you break down a common card, you get common points. If you get an ultra rare card, you get ultra rare points.
Okay, do that for ultra rares too. This only ultra rares. What's hard about that?
What do you mean?
There is
no. I'm saying if they can make rarities of every card.
Yeah.
Different rarities. Each rarities have different. So if I have a normal. Again, Dark Magician. There's normal, super rare, ultra rare.
There's normal, rare, super rare, ultra rare.
My normal rare doesn't do really shit. I can just throw it away for normal rare points.
Yeah.
Ultra rare version, I can do it for ultra rare points. They should have options for rares so I can use it for points instead of having.
Okay. I agree. Okay, so I do agree with this, and I hope they do. Wait. I do hope they do add this. So they should add in. If I have 1 billion normal points, I should be able to pay a premium for from normal to ultra. So let's add I could take a bunch of normal points.
Okay.
And then I could pay for. I could say
you can pay 60 normal points.
Right. I could pay 60 normals for one ultra rare or something. Yeah. That would be great.
That would be.
I don't like how they broke it up into 3 ultra rare or 3 ultra rares for one normal rare.
I totally agree.
That's it. Kind of sucks because if I have to pull, so this is where the gotcha system comes in. If I need 3 spell cards, and that's just a small fraction of a deck, if I need 3 spell cards, and they're all ultra rare cards, then I have to pull 9 fucking ultra rare cards, which is not an easy thing.
You see my fucking problem?
And I'm gonna need a lot of gems. That's what I'm saying. That should be balanced out a little bit more.
But that is the inherent balance of the game.
Well. But if you let me build, if I am pulling more normals, and I don't need fucking 20 of these one shitty normal card, I should have the option to get a super rare if I want. Just I spend more normals.
I agree with that. I agree with the point where if you have 1,000 normal points and a normal call is like a normal call is 30.
Right.
You should be able to pay $90 and get 90 points and get an ultra rare.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's fine. What I'm saying is that cards being made common, rare, having the option of common, rarity, super rare, and ultra rare breaks the balance of the game because the cards that are labeled ultra rare are typically the cards that have the more meta effects.
And they're taking the option away from the player by doing that. That's not right.
But it's you won the option because you're so experienced in Yu-Gi-Oh! You're so experienced as a player that you won the option because you've already been through the grind of learning how the game works and playing against other people that are better than you. And you've already experienced. When you are trying to design a game, if you don't design your game according to the people that are jumping new into the game, your game will die.
Bryan, you sound like a Dark Souls loser right now.
No, I don't.
You sound like people that's I hate Dark Souls because I suck at it. When the game doesn't hold your hands.
Dark Souls, it's not when the game holds your hand.
What are you talking about?
No, what he just said is when people play Dark Souls and they're new to the franchise, they say this game is bad because it's not helping me out.
No, I'm not saying that.
It's not that. It's just a general business thing.
No,
this is how the game works.
It shouldn't be that way. They should have better.
So what you're proposing, what you want, I know what you want. You want a $70 Yu-Gi-Oh game where you pay that $70 up front, and then you just get all the cards unlocked, and then you can go on and play.
No, okay.
That's what you want.
No, I'm not.
That's the business model that you're describing.
I'm not.
Because it's either free to play where you have to play gotcha.
That's why I said give you the option to choose the rarity. That's perfectly fucking fine. If they did making certain cards literally only ultra rare, that's not fine to me. If they gave me option, if they want to keep the gotcha things, Cool by me. That's completely fucking fine.
But there are some cards in the physical game that are.
Please tell me which one, because I don't
know any specifics, but
because I have not seen that.
This template exists for a reason. Like cards that are more difficult to find, they just have less prints of.
Someone is painstakingly went in, and this might be because like why the game took so long. Someone's painstakingly went in, looked at all the meta decks. Because there's random. This is what I was talking about before. There's random like spell cards, magic cards, trap cards that are ultra rare for. The only reason they're ultra rare is because they'll be a cheap card in real life, but they're an ultra rare in this game because they know that that card needs to go into a meta deck. They know they'll need to get 3 ultra rares, and they know they'll have to spend a lot of gems to get into packs so they can pull 3 of these ultra rares to either pull that card that they need or get 3 cards they don't need to craft into it. That's the whole
and it is a money situation where they're encouraging the player to spend money, but it is also a game balancing situation because the least amount of cards that are available to be put in a meta deck by every player, it forces people to either find a creative way to counter that meta card.
You still can do that. I don't understand why you keep bringing that up. They still
because most players are not like you. Most players are not going to research and sit to find out the perfect counter card and go through a list of 10,000 cards.
So you're telling me like people like me, like, oh, we don't care about you guys. We care about you guys.
No.
That's what you're telling me?
Essentially, the game works out in your favor.
How?
Because you know what to build your first. So I'm all right. I'll give you this. Let's say that you're gonna craft, I don't know, like 60, 70 cards. That's 2 decks. If you don't know what you're building when you're building out those first 2 decks, you are going to waste your gems and your money. So then when you want to build that 3rd deck, then you know what you're building, the game is going to you're going to have to shell out money or grind your fucking dick off to play it. That's what I'm saying. Like, but for you just go in and just play the game a couple of times, and then you can make the exact deck that you want to play.
I'm playing a variant of it because I can't get what I fucking want.
Why?
Because the game is hard to give me ultra rares. Like, why I had to fucking grind for certain cards where I have normal versions in my deck? Why is like again? That's I brought ultra.
Give me an example.
Effect Veiler. He's the only secret rare in the fucking game. I have commons in him in my deck for a cheaper price.
But you have commons on him.
No, but he's an ultra rare not because of the rarity in real life. They're not taking the real life versions of those.
Yes, they are.
They are deciding that Effect Veiler is a splashable card, so that makes him a UR.
Okay, no, that's not true.
That's exactly what that is.
That is not true. That is not true at all.
Then then explain to me why is it ultra rare?
Why would Konami release at the same fucking time release a common version or ultra rare version of Effect Veiler or any other
because
card?
that's how they make money in real life. That's how that's like
they can do in the fucking
like
game.
Starlight Rare for Dragoonity.
The game is like the game that give you option of rarity.
In the game, it automatically debalances the environment. It creates a situation
Bryan,
where harder to get cards
because you're not you can't sell. You're not selling NFTs of the digital version of the game.
What?
There's not resale value for a ultra rare in the game.
The reason why rarities exist in real life is to fuel not only to fuel the idea of you getting more packs, but also to fuel the resale economy of those cards. A rare card is worth more inherently because of its rarity.
In real life.
In a digital game, a rare card is worth more because of its effectiveness.
That's why I asked for the point system to give you options.
The point system works. The point system is fine. I'm agreeing with that.
Yes.
But I'm saying that the
problem is they're not doing that.
The option, and it might come later because they're still working, but the option to select which cards are commons, which cards are rares, and which cards are ultra rares for you, or having common versions of cards, which they do. There are several cards that have a common version and a rare version.
I've yet to see.
I have several of them. I have so many common cards that are rare.
And if they do that, they should, which I thought the game was originally going to do, is like, okay, make my common Dark Magician. Okay, I got a common Dark Magician, right? I can upgrade a card to an ultra rare.
So
thing. Do we have that?
No. So they actually do have that. So but you can't buy it. So what you have to do is you pull it from a pack. So let's say I have a shadow rare of Legacy Guard Dragon, some spell card. It's a shadow art. If I break that down, I actually get more points. So if you have a shadow art of an ultra rare, instead of getting 10 points, you'll get 15 points.
Yeah.
So you do get more. But it's not. There's no going in and buying a version of that card where it's a. I think I've only seen 2 rare versions. So some of my cards, they have a rare version where it just occasionally there's an animation where a white slash will come over it.
It's like a holo.
And then, but a shatter art will have like it's actually like glitter over the card in the digital game. So if you break those cards down, you actually do get more points. You just don't see them that often.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense for them though. I mean,
so the reason why I'm fighting so hard about what you're saying is apart from game balancing, because resources have to be limited for the player for them to grind and for them to be able to creatively build against other decks.
You still can.
You still can, but when there's limitations, that happens a lot more efficiently.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that balance shit because it's like.
You disagree with it because you understand the game.
Yes,
and
you know why? Because I took my time and actually fucking learned the game.
But you've been playing for 20 years.
Yes, that don't mean anything. It doesn't take 1,000 years to learn fucking
Yu-Gi-Oh. We're trying to make an environment, and this is the shit. This is the shit that pisses me off about competitive gaming in general. Competitive gaming promotes gatekeeping.
No, it doesn't.
It does, because what you're saying right now is either learn the fucking game and figure it out from the get-go before you play, or don't play.
I didn't say that.
That's what you said that to me on a text.
No,
you were like, learn the fucking game. It's your fault.
Yeah, it is your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not the player's fault.
Wait.
So why are you playing the game you don't want to fucking learn?
It's because
wait, hang on. I don't understand.
Hold on, Crockett. Before you finish that thought, you learn the game by getting rewarded for playing the game. That's the way game design works.
You learn from experience.
I don't understand why you guys keep saying learning the fucking game. This is just your issue with the game is that Avec Failure, you can get a common card for it. Your issue is like these cards that are not like expensive in real life are expensive in the digital game.
The game is lacking options, is what I'm saying. The game is lacking. It's giving me things that shouldn't be ultra rare. Why is it ultra rare?
Because it's good.
That doesn't. No, it doesn't. They're doing it simply for the gacha system.
Right.
It has nothing.
Yes,
no purpose other than that.
Because someone went
and not only that, because it's a digital fucking game. Rarity means shit in a digital game.
It does mean
but
shit.
It's not. But it's because
it takes more resources.
Wait. The issue here is the wording for Tay, because I know what he means when they say ultra rare. Let's break it. So for Master Duels, let's say that it's not ultra rare. Let's not say it's super rare, because that is fucking confusing for Tay. Let's say it's a number system. Let's say 4 is the highest. 3, 2, 1. That is what those fucking things mean. So they considered, let's say 4 is the strongest. Let's say that Avec Failure is a 4. You see what I mean?
Cards that are better strategically need to be on a limited resource to acquire. They need to be harder to get
because
than normal cards.
Right.
Because they are better. If you make that card easier to get, you break the rank ecosystem. You break the game, because then the easiest strategy will always win.
I disagree again.
Yeah, it's
not that. It's just a money. It's just like, well, he has to spend more money to get that card.
But what I'm saying,
if you put it up on a higher shelf, you have to spend more gems to climb up that shelf.
You do have to spend
to
more
get
gems,
3 of them,
which makes it a harder card to get, which makes it less likely that everyone that you fight is going to be running that card.
Okay, and
that's game design. It's a balancing act.
That doesn't mean shit. You can give the player to get what they fucking want. There's nothing wrong with that.
They do give you the option to get what you want.
Yeah, but you got to work hard when they're doing it the wrong way. But
you don't have to. No. You don't have to work hard. You can spend money.
Okay, so your guys fine with that shit?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying. That's the whole.
I'm arguing against that. You guys are saying, "Oh, that's perfectly okay because it balances out the fucking game."
Because
no. What I'm saying is making cards limited resources and have you spend more resources.
And
is good in a balancing act. I'm never going to pay for those cards.
I'm fine with the gacha system. They just need to give me an option to choose common, rare, super rare. If the thing is more expensive than rare, I can trade it off for more points or something. Whatever should give me options for rarities. So if my common whatever ain't worth shit, fine. But if I want to get another ultra rare card, I had to sacrifice my ultra rare card I already have to get that one. That's perfectly fine.
So you want a 1-for-1 system?
Yes, why not? Because it's like if my
because they could because in the future it could be a 1-for-1 system.
That should have been a common.
What your issue is that you have to change 3 for 1.
Yes, that's perfectly fine with me.
Okay, we're getting somewhere here.
Yes.
All right, that makes sense. That's understandable to be angry about. I get it. And I in the survey, I even said that, like, hey, I would like it to be cheaper, or a 1-for-1 system works. It's not necessarily probably a smart business decision on their end because they know they can get more money if it's a 3-to-1 system.
Yeah.
But a 1-for-1 system may keep your player base longer. It just all depends on how Konami wants to handle that.
Because I'm like, I did research on the thing, especially Twitter, like how people compare it to like this and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Just a lot of fucking people are like, hey, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is way better than this shit. Like, we've been doing this for fucking years.
But if they wanted to do it like
they're
that,
entirely different ecosystems.
No, they're not.
They absolutely
that's
are.
what they literally discussed in the beginning. This game is targeted for casual people can play. It's for everyone, but it had competitive players in mind when it developed this game.
When they developed the mechanics of gameplay, the actual dueling mechanics, when they're talking about meta decks, it is targeted for competitive play because they want to create a digital competitive scene. But this is a game that, whether we like it or not, needs to keep players coming to it and needs to keep bringing on a new audience. And that is going to be where all of the mechanics that you are angry about are going to be aimed at.
You still can do that by retaining the things I want. I don't understand why you don't understand
let's not get hung up. Hang on. Let's just not get hung up on here. Let's just shift over here. Let's move into...
The last thing that I want to say about that is that I understand the mechanics that you want. They just go against the fundamental basis of game design when you're trying to make money off a game.
Right, okay. Stop using the word mechanic. It's not a mechanic.
It is a mechanic.
It's a system.
It's a mechanic.
A
system is an addition of mechanics.
Well, when you're talking Yu-Gi-Oh! And you say mechanics, like a link mechanic.
No. It's a game design mechanic. I'm talking about the fundamental game design theory of the game.
Let's just get into where you want to talk about gatekeeping here.
Yes, please. I don't understand.
Yeah, when a game like that, and this is because it happens in competitive gaming. Like, let's say fucking Magic the Gathering, Street Fighter, stuff like that happens. The skill cap gets so high in the scene that anybody fighting their way through that scene gets constantly ridiculed and pushed away because the top of that scene has already been established. They already know how shit works. They're not going to take the time to accommodate more casual players.
They're not going to go easy. They're not going to...
And it's not that they're going to go easy,
pull their punches.
They're not going to facilitate a player that has less resources than them. And that generates gatekeeping.
How did they get there, Bryan?
They played the game, sure, but they've been playing the game for so much longer. What I'm saying is that competitive scenes in general tend to facilitate, and I'm not saying this just for Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm saying this for Magic, I'm saying this for any casual shooter, for StarCraft, for anything. They got there playing the game, sure. But the gatekeeping that comes with a competitive scene comes from the fact that the people at the top will always ridicule the people at the bottom for not learning the fucking game. That's what promotes gatekeeping.
That's what the gatekeepers did. They learned the game themselves.
They learned the game. They learned the game. I get that. But the amount of time that they had to sink into that game is unreasonable for any new player coming into the game. And when you're talking about systems that promote the skill cap players not having any drawbacks against the more casual players,
I think
you're creating a dead scene.
It's essentially like this. If you jump into a fighting game about 5 years into its life, the player base is already going to know the game, how it works.
Am I going to shit on the game? No, I'm not. I'll learn and get to their level.
I'm not saying that I'm shitting on the game.
Wait, stop.
Yeah, I'm not shitting. Sorry. I'm not shitting on the game. I'm shitting on the people that play the game.
Yes, I don't shit on those fucking players because I know they took time. I'm do the same.
But no. But they do have an advantage because they got to practice with players that also were learning at the same skill level. You don't start the issue with it's mainly a time thing. You don't jump from let's take Yu-Gi-Oh! For example. When you start, you were in bronze. And you're not all, but when you're playing a game that's like 5 years old, all those players, no one's going to be in bronze. So there's not going to be any players in that ranking system with you. Everyone's going to be in platinum that's still playing the fucking game.
Yeah.
So, but if you're playing a bronze player versus a platinum player, that platinum player is going to beat the living piss out of them. And they're not going to have any footing to get any better
and what
because
happens,
they can't.
Oh
and that is true. And that is very much true because when the punishment for not being good at the game outweighs the reward of getting good at the game, your player base drops.
But you're built a little bit different. Let's say that. Because if I jump into the game and I'm just getting my ass whooped, but I can't beat on somebody and then kind of just learn in my own space, if someone's just hitting me with heavy blows and I can't fundamentally learn, I can't start willing on them and getting a little bit better, then I'm never going to learn because I'm just getting my ass handed to me too quickly for me to understand anything. Your process is you're just going to sit there and take it until you can fucking try to get better.
That's how you
or hop into a lab and then practice.
Look, not saying to you guys, but boo fucking who? Learn the fucking game because it's
But that's gatekeeping. That is gatekeeping.
No, it fuck is not.
Yeah,
I don't go into Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I fucking did, and get mad at players because they kick my ass because they better than me. I learned myself and got into I'm not the best, but I got to accept to defend myself. I'm
not getting mad at players.
Yes, you are. You're mad because someone's beating you.
I'm not getting mad at players for beating me. I'm getting mad at the community.
They're not gatekeeping. They took the time you did and got
you
better.
haven't experienced gatekeeping.
No.
I have. I've experienced such a big amount of it because I've tried to get into competitive shit. Your computer died? Because I've tried to get into competitive scenes and I've tried to learn the language and learn the ecosystem. And all I've been getting is pretentious people going
Bryan,
you're playing that? What are you doing? That is a form of gatekeeping.
Who fucking cares? Play what you want. They're not telling you not to do that.
But
just do what you want. That's
what
the
I'm
problem.
saying.
He's letting people get to him or players that make him draw from the fucking game.
I'm just saying that when you're making a game, and that is the attitude that is presented to you when you enter the game, you're not going to want to join. You're not going to want to be part of the community.
But it's not necessarily a game's problem. It's a time problem. It's a time problem.
It is not time problem either.
But you have to climb. You have to be able to be in a league of your level before, so you can grind up, so you can practice. But if you're jumping into a game that's 10 years old, no one's going to be a fucking newbie. No new players are jumping into it. So you're going to get your ass beat. So you're going to have to just toughen up, or because there's not going to be an option for
that. But you said it, toughen up. But a lot of players are not doing that nowadays.
But at that point,
you just rage going
at that point, you can't play the game.
At that point, the community of the game has been sort of solidified into what the community is going to be.
It's congealed into itself.
The community is going to be. So the community is never... There's going to be very few people that are going to break through the community now and grow the game.
Right,
so
Bryan,
Street Fighter 4...
You're a Final Fantasy 14 fan, right?
Yeah.
And you telling me you don't see people have better armor and weapons than you? You want to just shy away from that?
Well, you're not. It's not a PvP thing.
It's still, though, but they got better things
when
than
it's PvP, it's a separate...
No, but the thing is that like Final Fantasy 14, the game mechanics of the game, everybody has the same skill set.
Thank you.
Everybody has the same skill set.
And they all went to their different ways, right? That depends on you.
Everybody has the same powers, the same abilities, depending on the class. And everybody has mechanics that are balanced out with each other to facilitate collaborative play, whether it's healing or DPSing or tanking or whatever. There are mechanics that exist to balance out. One tank cannot dominate the entirety of the dungeon. They need the healer to be able to do that. So in Final Fantasy, it's a completely different game design. It doesn't work as a comparison.
It's PvE, not PvP.
Doesn't mean they got better things than me.
They have better things, but the better things don't affect you as a player.
No, I understand his point, but it still kind of applies. It's like me shying away because everyone's better than me when I just started the fucking game.
But you're not playing against other people. You're playing against a computer.
That's any other game though. Street Fighter, fucking Grand Theft Auto, whatever.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm not mad at the game. I'm the community.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You're mad at the players because they're apparently better than you.
No. They're not because they're better than me. It's because the community has already congealed into. The community has congealed into itself. It's a solid block of people playing. Let me finish. Sorry, it's a solid block of people that are in that community. So they're not going to accept anybody. It's a lot harder for someone to break through. But when Yu-Gi-Oh, this game has just came out. Yu-Gi-Oh is a card game. There is going to be a point where people are going to stop spending money in Yu-Gi-Oh because they've got what they want and they're at the cap level where they no longer need to spend the money.
That is not fucking true.
That is, in Master Duels, they're going to keep updating cards and they're going to keep updating set lists. But there is a point where the skill cap gets so high that there's not enough bronze players left for the bronze players to practice on each other and get better.
Yeah.
That will happen at some point. Well, it already happened to me in Magic the Gathering Arena.
Right. So the issue is it's mainly a game... It's not gatekeeping, Bryan.
Can I get some water?
Yeah, sure.
No, and that inherently is not gatekeeping, but the attitudes of the players.
Okay. So, but here's the here's
1% of something.
But okay, I see where you're both coming from. But inherently, here's the problem: you're not going to ask those players to go easy in a competitive scene.
You can.
But all right. So what is your?
So you balance out the game. You balance out which players have their resources available to them, or you either once the game reaches that. Sorry, my mouth.
Let's take a game for an example, because in my mind we're still talking about a fighting game.
So I'm talking about any game,
any competitive game. Really,
yeah, any competitive game.
Okay, so because in fighting game you can still play, you can do a mirror match, and you're both on equal footing in terms of the game and what you can use. But in a different knowledge base,
you guys
one player's gonna have more than the other.
Yu-Gi-Oh is an asymmetrical game,
right? Because you can have a better card than someone else.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is an asymmetrical.
It is also draw of the. It's what you're drawing into. Yeah, luck of the draw.
So Yu-Gi-Oh being an asymmetrical game, if you have better cards than me, chances are you're going to win 80% of the time or a majority of the time, which is fine because part of the game is for me to grind to get better cards and learn how the mechanics work a lot better. That's the way it works in real life. That's the way that it works in the game. But when you're trying to create an ecosystem that draws in new players, you're trying to create a game design system that lets players feel rewarded, you have to take the hit and you can't give them all of the things that Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro did. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is made for players that are playing on a professional level or want to establish on a professional level.
That's why they gave you option to make custom servers.
I know.
The game does that.
But that's not, but I'm just saying there's just a different audience.
There's not going to be an answer for this.
No, there's not, because it's the fundamental.
I think you have to just sit with the gatekeep. It's not, or not necessarily gatekeeping.
I don't mind the skill cap. I just want players to be better about communities and community building.
Yeah,
that's a very small minority though.
But I get what Bryan's saying. He just wants people to be more to
hold your hand.
Well, if I
just want people to not, and this happens on a 1% thing, but it is the kind of environment that promotes gatekeeping. People will make fun of you for running a card. People will make fun of you for not running a card. People will make fun of you for
no. I get what he means, because if I hop, no, but listen.
Okay.
If I hopped online and I saw someone playing a Dark Magician deck and they're just not, and I'm like, what are you doing? You can't. But inherently, what the issue with Yu-Gi-Oh is, it's 20 years old. If a game just came out and someone was better than me, I'd be like, fuck off. Like, you can't be this good at this early in the stage of the game. But it's so old that there's so many years of, if you just stayed with it, you're going to innately be better. And if someone's playing with, Dark Magician, and they're not playing anything else, any other support, and they're trying to use a nostalgia deck, I'm going to crush them, not necessarily because I want to, just necessarily it's just how the game has been. I have more knowledge than them. So, wait. So, what do you petition? So you want the game to what?
No. I don't want the game to do anything.
You want me to what?
I don't want the game. I don't necessarily want you to do anything. I just want more casual accessibility. Inside of the game.
Okay, so then inherently that's the ranking system with the bronze. So it
really weird they only have a ranking system though. I don't know why they just jumped into that with no casual. What is it?
Because you gotta have
the casual exists, but it's
because you have to gradually get people. You don't want someone because you want to strain them out. You want the best players to go up into platinum so they can only play other players.
What's it called? In fighting games, this rank system. What's the other one?
Casual.
Yeah,
test play. It's like a test play.
They don't do it for you, which honestly.
But they don't do it.
I'm gonna answer your question.
But they need.
I'm a bit of a elitist with this bit.
Yeah,
because it's
and that's exactly my thing. That's exactly where
I'm aware. But here's the thing: I have reasons to be that way, though. Because
there's no reason to be elitist.
Why
in
not?
Anything. There's no reason to be elitist.
The game is essentially not holding your hands. It's telling you to fucking learn.
But
there's
you can't.
Solo mode there.
No, but you can't just play
Look, I'm sorry.
Look, if you're new, but listen, if you're new, you need to play other new players. You can't, because then you're not gonna want to come back. I'm just saying, if I was
literally fighting games are built to be competitive, and people learn of that. That's how new players come in. Same with fucking Yu-Gi-Oh with this.
But
game.
You're not gonna play.
You don't say that
you
player
couldn't hop
game
on
is shit because you're not good at that fucking game.
But essentially, someone who is in platinum 1, inherently are going to have fucking more gems than you.
Congratulations!
So
I gotta do the same.
So if your deck is half-assed, you don't want to be playing a platinum 1. You want to play someone in your general field where you can get more gems.
How rank works, but what happens when we run out of new bronze players?
then the game dies.
There's
nothing to fix that, Brian.
That's not. Going to happen.
That's the flaw of the game design.
So, but you're just inherently you're not proposing anything to fix it. You're just inherently complaining.
There is no way to fix it.
So then
what's no way to fix it? What I'm saying is that in order to keep the game alive, to prevent that problem from happening early on in the life cycle of the game, it needs to be more casual friendly.
All right. Give me an example how it can be more casually friendly.
So again, they do have a casual system, but they do need to implement something that's like ranked matchmaking that works in a casual way that's not ranked, so that people can get their games in with decks that are
like
not
a format, like a casual.
It's just a matchmaking, but just casual. So instead of having a rank,
I see you coming from because people Brian, because it's like no matter how casual it is, you still can make a competitive casual deck.
You can, but I that option would be nice for people to be able to play the game without sacrificing their ranking in the game and getting punished for being bad at the game.
So you want like a more...
Well, no one's going to get punished right now because right now in the way that works is like you don't lose rank.
No.
The way once you get to gold, you don't lose rank.
No, the game actually... No, it answers your question. You're facing players at the same rank as you.
So, but that is right now because there's an abundance of players in the game.
So inherently, it's just when the game dies.
No, I never played a platinum player before. Ever.
No. But like, I know what he's saying is just...
I'm talking about the future of the game.
When the game is 5 years old, there's not going to be any more new people.
Yes, it is. There's always new people coming to the game.
There's always new people, but it's going to drop exponentially.
But it's still there.
There's no one new coming to play Call of Duty 2.
Because it's out of
the
course,
big red one.
Of fucking course. But it's like, it's still going to be new people like from a game like at least 4 or 5 years ago. People still buying games just because it's...
But not in abundance.
But then
it's new to them, not new to you.
That puts the risk of now the game has no choice but to put you in a match with a higher ranked player because it can't find...
No, I don't think... But what's going to happen with Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's get 10 years down the road. There's no bronze players. You hop on... and you're not going to find a match.
No, I get
because the game doesn't want to match you against a bronze player. But that's just what happens. You're just not going to find a match, and then the game inherently dies.
I get what you're saying, but the game is not built that way. It's built for people who is your level. I'm not fighting. I'm a gold. I'm not fighting platinums.
But what happens? What happens when you can't find another?
You can't play a match.
You can't. No, it's not like that. You play who.
That's what I know.
You're playing a level you were playing against someone else.
Yeah.
The game doesn't do what you're thinking you're doing. That's the problem.
The game's not going to match you. But I get what Brian's saying. He's just like, but if the game did do that, and it did match a bronze because it couldn't find any more bronze, so it just has to move up.
It just has to move up to the next rank. You're getting punished for playing the game. At that point,
you're getting punished for being late.
Yeah, no. There's the cost.
Yeah, because if you can't find, if you didn't jump on the bandwagon when it first came out,
that is a stupid take. That's not my problem. That's not my problem that I didn't learn.
It's not your problem. It's not your individual problem.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, actually,
there's no. But just let's just wrap that part. This because we're just dwelling on this. You inherently cannot get away from just time. Like you're not going to get away from not being able to find players.
Look, and I guarantee
because that's not a game. That's just a community problem where there's no new people getting drawn into an old game.
Yeah. And that's
so there's not going to be an influx of new players to practice on.
That's why I'm shaking my head at these OG Yu-Gi-Oh fans coming to the game because it's like I stop and expect the game to be what they want back in the day. Like,
okay.
Fuck off. The game evolves.
I agree with that.
And they're not willing to fucking learn. They've been ignorant. Oh, this game is stupid. Or people are better than me. Actually, if you actually sit down, fuck off with the 2012, 2002 shit and actually learn the current game, it's still the base game. The philosophy of the game is still there.
Yeah.
Just new shit and the game is faster.
There are a lot of mechanics that I hate.
Just people refuse to learn the game. You don't have to like them. You don't even have to use them.
Yeah.
Konami said you don't have to use them. The creative freedom is still there.
I agree. I
don't know why people are like so against that or like said it's like, I'm sorry, bro, it's gatekeeping. It's not gatekeeping. The game is still what you're saying there. It's literally back in 2002. The only reason people don't say that because they didn't know at the time.
But I'm not talking. But you're making the false assumption that I'm talking about the current state of the game. I'm talking about the current state of competitive gameplay.
Always been there.
It sucks and I hate it.
But it's not.
And I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels is a good way to combat against that if you give
It's not. No game will ever do that.
If you give some casual abilities to the player and you keep the casual player in mind as you're developing the ecosystem, it can counteract a lot of that toxicity.
That's not.
I just don't want the game to fall into toxicity, and I want it to remain casual.
Inherently,
it already has.
But but there's no. I don't think.
But it's been out for a week. I want that to be the trend.
What?
I want it to be the trend. But the game has been out for a week.
No, I'm saying the thing you're arguing against already happened since day one. People are I'm making my deck was a fantastic fucking deck, kicking people's asses, and it's people who are using clearly starter decks.
Yeah,
cool. Do what you fucking want. I'm pretty sure those players are going to learn how to make a deck better over time.
They will. But a lot of those players are going to drop off, and I want those players to not.
Yes, because they're not hardcore players like me and you or Jordan.
I want a space for them in the game because that's what keeps the game funded.
That's the player's problem. If you don't want to keep playing and learn, can't blame the game itself.
But if you're making a game to make money,
I get it. But necessarily, what Tay is saying is maybe the game's is not for you.
Yes, exactly. That's okay.
But calm down. Everyone just needs to calm down because we've been arguing straight. Inherently, I get what you guys are saying. And I don't know if it's because I'm sitting in the middle of it, but I get it. It's what Tay is saying is just necessarily maybe that game, if they don't want to learn, that game's not necessarily for them. Because a lot of people from Twitter are just coming back from just playing old Yu-Gi-Oh! And it happens every fucking time.
Yeah, fuck them too.
Yeah, fuck them because they don't.
I'm not agreeing with them.
But if what Bryan is saying is someone new wants to hop in and they do want to give it an honest day's try, but they're just getting ass beat after ass beat. I understand. I understand, but I understand
why.
Because you're getting
that's me telling you giving up on shit you're trying to learn.
Let's say this. If inherently, let's say this. I need to win matches to get gems, to get better cards. I can't win a fucking match because I started late.
Then try fucking harder.
No, then I just lose because it's just a.
You still gonna get progress from learning. I don't understand why you guys so against them losing.
Is some point. I'm not against losing, but there is a point where you lose not because you're a bad player, but because you don't have the resources.
Then work for it.
But you can't work for them because you don't have the resources.
That's essentially saying at the beginning.
It's capitalism.
But essentially, for you, that's like you having a problem with URs. Just fucking work harder.
I have to because the game's not giving me options.
Then don't complain.
All right, then you guys don't complain about what we just talking about just then. Then work harder. Fair.
I don't know. I don't even know where we're at anymore.
My approach.
There's no okay. So wait. There's just not a fucking way to fix this yet.
There's not.
There never will be.
But there is
so you have to just let it go.
But there is a way to delay the problem.
No, it's not.
There is a way to delay the problem.
See, this is how I envision it. What you want, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a casual playlist of cards. People will make a competitive casual deck in that game, and those same people will come back to me and say, "Oh, it's too fucking hard." Then
those babies will drop off, and then there's people that will just stiffen up.
I want a balanced game that dictates that. I want a game that gives new players the resources to grow as a player and gives competitive players and higher players a dampen to even the playing field. That's what I want. It's just because we
have a casual, but we have a rank. Whenever they add the casual in, then
that problem does help.
Inherently, yeah, thank you. Yeah. When the game is 20 years old, that casual won't be casual anymore. There's a threshold of how many years where it's not casual anymore. Whoever's going in there is probably testing a deck.
Look, maybe just me. So in high school, I had a 50 card deck.
Yeah,
it was shitty. But I sat down. It's literally a span of weeks. It was a synchro deck, a variation of the one we had back in the day. It was before all that shit came out. I sat down one day. I swear to God, I was in my living room on the floor making this fucking deck. Yeah. I was like, I made UC's character deck. So like, okay, I have these cards. Why is this deck ain't good? I lack consistency. We're having certain cards. So I broke that card down to 4. That's when I learned. That's when I became a competitive player. That moment. Yeah. When I looked on YouTube and showed people showed me how to make a better deck. I made it my same deck, a variation, faster, better, and more consistent because I learned.
And that's what I'm working on with my deck too. I just don't like the eliticism that comes from a game like Master Duels, MTG Arena, Street Fighters, anything like that. I think the eliticism that comes with it is harmful to the community and it sucks because it punishes players for trying.
Bryan, but
You're saying it like it's all of them.
Wait, but hang on.
It's a lot. I run through it a lot.
Any
I've
game,
just been in toxic
any
environments
game,
like that.
any game with a PvP or like a or a rank system.
Yeah.
Any game that's gonna have a rank system, there's always gonna be toxicity because not everyone's going to be a fucking nice person.
I
agree.
Thing, though. I agree.
I guess I'm gonna read that too. Marvel's Capcom 3. My favorite character is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He sucks in competitive play. I still fucking use them.
Yeah, that's fine. You're a very specific type of player. You're a very specific type of player. Not all players have the same psychology that you do.
Then honestly, this is odds you can probably imagine listening to this to fucking toughen up. That's how
you
I
can't,
am.
but you can't.
But that's the eliticism that pisses me
I'm
off.
not being elitist though.
No,
I'm not.
Toughen up or leave.
That's
the game.
me say I need to get better and acknowledge the game.
That's you. But to say that to other players is a brand of eliticism that I find tedious in
Boo
competitive
fucking
plays.
who? I'm sorry.
I agree. It's fine. Boo fucking who. But as a Master Duels player, I want a space for those guys because I'm never going to be good as you and I'm never going to be good as Crockett.
Don't ever say that.
I'm too late in the game.
That doesn't mean anything. You still have the time and day to learn.
I will agree with Tay on this. It's never too late to learn.
I dropped the game.
That's my point with Lydia's entire argument.
I dropped the game so early into the lifespan of the game that now I can understand the mechanics and I can devote 20 hours a day or fucking 20 hours a week into learning the new meta and figuring it out. But I don't have the knowledge base.
Look, I think you guys are making valid points, but I think there's valid points, but you guys are just look on your side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you shouldn't have to deal with that. You shouldn't have to. But essentially, you're going to have to if you want to get into because you'll just never get away from it. On your side, you're saying that you're going to have to toughen up, but not everyone wants to deal with a bunch of bullshit. I don't want to deal with it constantly, So I think you just ease up on each other.
I just don't want to. I'm at a level of play
right
that I'm having fun with the game, and I find myself getting punished for having fun with the game.
That's what matters. That's what I'm saying. You still can have fun despite whatever happens to you.
That's true, but I'm getting punished for having fun. I'm getting punished for just trying to play the game. And so that makes the game not fun, and I just want to survive in the space a little bit longer.
I don't understand.
And I want more casual accessibility.
So essentially you want to you don't want to die on turn 1 or turn 2.
No, and it's
you want to have an anime battle.
No, it's a lot more complex than that. I just want to be able to like when I
have a good match.
When I play 3 duels and I lose 2 duels to somebody that just won because they run 5 copies or 3 copies of the same fucking card and they have a turn that takes 20 minutes, it's just punishing the player, man.
It is a little bit annoying.
Yeah,
I agree with that. It can be annoying.
That player's having fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying... The only reason I say this is because people like me drop out of the game way quicker than people like you.
Why?
Just because that's just the way that psychology works. It's just the way that psychology works. When you're not getting rewarded for engaging with something,
your reward is learning from experience.
No, that's not true. There's very different reward center.
All right, you got to stop. You have to apply, dude. Like, just no one just doesn't want to get the shit kicked out of them, and then think they're like there's going to strain through it. Not everyone's going to be like that.
So when you're talking,
you got to have a heart here.
I am having a heart.
And the only reason why I fight against the options for getting ultra rares and rarities and commons the way that you would like it to be is because that facilitates people like you who understand the game, understand the meta, have a deep knowledge base to abuse the other people.
I didn't say that. I'm saying just give accessibility to fucking everyone, not just people like me, but literally everyone.
But you have the distinct advantage of knowing what to use that option for.
And what's the difference between me and the other person?
The knowledge base. You have 20 years of experience in the game. It's a balancing act.
But that's the issue. It's a time thing.
Yeah.
It's just
I understand.
Sensei. It's student 1 going up against Sensei.
Yeah, and I completely understand that environment. I'm just saying that there's a way to mitigate that relationship with the player and the gatekeeping part of the community.
I disagree.
There is a way to mitigate that.
You can do it. You can add a casual thing in, but it will only last for so long.
And someone's gonna be. I swear to God, someone's gonna do the exact same thing we're arguing about, and someone's gonna bitch about it because they got beat.
Yeah, and but people that get beat, I'm not talking about the people that get beat. I'm not talking about just getting beat. I'm talking about the game itself accommodating its mechanics and its resources for people that don't necessarily know how to engage with it yet, so that they can learn how to engage with it and be better at the game. I am talking about accessibility, which Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels is a good bit of, versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is not accessible.
Very. They give you options to make servers how you want it. I can do ban lists or no ban lists. I can do all that shit if I want to, because it gives me the freedom.
It is
to
an
do
overwhelming amount of information.
No,
to
it's
go
not.
into
It's
Yu-Gi-Oh!
super
Pro.
simple. Very simple.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that game, there's no ranks. You're jumping.
There's a ranked matches. There's casual matches. You can do, again, literally everything I'm arguing about is in that fucking game. Sit down and download your Pro various stuff.
I
You'll
did.
sit there.
I did.
It has servers for anime duels, casual play.
I
Okay.
all of that.
All right. So Tate makes a point that there's servers for there.
the servers for that. I still stand the fact that I'm talking specifically. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro fixes a lot of problems when it comes to like having given the player options. There are two entirely different environments for play, and I think that
I'm sorry,
I want
but
Master.
hang on. We didn't bring up that.
So all right. So is Master Duels friendly? Is it casual friendly? Bryan,
Not as good as it could be.
Tay,
It's pretty friendly, yes.
I think it. Yeah, I would agree. It's also friendly. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Jesus,
No, I meant
because
this-
we're sounding like a fucking broken
No,
record.
Yeah,
It's an interesting conversation because it's
I didn't mean to bring up because I don't know why they did it, but the game follows the OCG format instead of TCG.
So okay, let's.
International.
Yeah, all right.
They need a. Was that in my notes?
So,
That's so strange.
all right.
Yeah.
So Master Duels also runs OCG, and that is the Japanese ban list. So if you don't know, the TCG and the OCG run two different types of ban lists. So Japanese players get cards ahead of us first, and then we get a delay, and then we'll get cards. And actually, I think we get different cards sometimes because some of my Borolo dragons, there's a card that I have in my deck, but it doesn't. There's not one in the Japanese version, which is weird. And I have an answer for why they run the OCG. It is just because it is because if you notice, you're playing Korean and
It's an
Japanese
international
players.
game, yeah.
It's an international game, so
I'm playing more Japanese players than PlayStation players for some fucking reason.
right. Well, it's just probably time or whatever, but that's the only reason why they run the OTCG, which I think it's kind of strange. I think this is a weird, and I don't know how they're going to do this for competitive play when they start changing up, when they start instead of doing remote duels and then they just change them out for master duels.
Yeah.
Because but that almost tells me that they're probably going to implement a TCG at some point.
They can do servers of TCG and OCG. That's all they have to do.
But I wonder if that's going to be a changeable format, or that's just we're just going to switch. If you're in North America, that's just going to switch to TCG at some point, and then you won't see any more Japanese players.
Yeah.
I kind of like doing the OCG because I like playing all players around the world. I think it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I've had a good time with it. I haven't noticed a difference.
I
Yeah.
have. It's
Well, it depends. It depends if the
deck
ban
build.
list hits your deck or not.
So I'm playing my deck is still great. I still can run it, but I don't like the variant of it.
Yeah.
Why not? What's the issue?
Because miscellaneous stores is at 1
So
in TCG. He's at 2. My main card, Solely the Overraptor, is at 2 in OCG. He's 3 in the TCG.
okay.
And that kind of fucks up my consistency.
So
a
it is
bit.
like your ban. So in this format, your deck got hit by the ban.
Yeah. That's why I was concerned about the ban list, because people was rumoring like, is this game following a pre?
No,
like
a pre TCG
tease. Of
No.
what we have, and it didn't. It was referring to be OCG variant. And, so it depends on certain decks. Like Dragoon is not in OCG.
Yeah.
Thank fucking
Is
God.
it in the TCG
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
He doesn't need to be banned. The card that needs to be banned is the common to use Verde, Platyprint Verde. He's a stupid fucking card.
No, I don't know.
It just gets the card out fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's an
That's
instant
the
fusion.
that's the issue. That you can make strong cards, but cards that get it out on turn one, I think that there needs to be like a little bit of limitation on
I agree.
stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's why I was laughing at Pot Desires getting at 1.
Inherently, like the drawing power is always going to be the strongest thing possible.
No, because it's like I see people mad. It's like
Well, that's why TG Hopper Librarian's limited. That's why
he's banned, ain't he?
Graceful Charity is also limited,
Yeah.
right?
That should ban. That should be fucking limited though.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a cost for it.
Yeah, there's a cost, and then that's and then that's my cost with that's my problem with some mechanics for Yu-Gi-Oh is that they have very little cost for the amount of effect that they have.
So now I can agree with that. Some cards are straight up bullshit.
Yeah.
And Konami sometimes know they could actually produce the fucking card.
Yeah.
They know people want to buy it, and that's why I like Powder Desires, because they know it's a good card. Like, oh, we paid that one. We took all your money for buying 3.
Yeah.
Here's one. So you can't really draw it no more, really.
Yeah.
So
no, I get it.
Yeah.
I just wish that. That's a point where I wish Konami would balance out the game.
I agree with that.
The cards.
That I agree.
Yeah.
'Cause I know they acknowledge this is a shitty fucking card or a good, way too fucking good card. But I want them to just make TCG OCG. Because it affects some people's decks. Some people like me, I want to make my real life deck.
Yeah.
And I can't really play the one I want.
Well, you just have to make another deck.
I did. It's still runnable, but it's not my favorite.
Or you just can't. Or you're just limited out of that deck.
I think that this is the difference between you and I as players, because I view them as such different platforms that I'm never going to try to recreate a deck that I run in real life on.
Why not?
I do it all the time.
On Master Duel.
That's how I learn my deck. Yeah.
I don't. It's not a bad play style. I just don't do it. I don't know. I've never had the desire to recreate a life deck in a.
It's necessarily because I just know how good that deck.
Yeah.
Well, mainly it's like I like using the Rockets because I get to more practice.
Yeah, that's why I did my deck on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
So because like when you let's say Legacy for the Duelist, like I didn't make it a 1-for-1 because I can't, because there's certain cards I can't get. But you start learning a lot of new stuff about your deck.
Yeah.
Because that's a neat thing about like Master Duels and Duels of Legacy. Is you can't misplay. You can misplay by by
not reading
and not clicking the right thing.
That happened to me last night.
But you can't you learn the rules of your cards a lot better, and then you start learning like neat little tricks, like how that there's a for Boros Sword Dragon. If I select a card and I
wet lip smack,
crispy, and when you can attack twice with them if you take a card from attack mode to defense mode.
Yeah.
You can do all of that during your attack phase. I didn't realize that when I made the deck in real life, but I realized that
after you played it.
So
I'm just not at that level of play yet, where like I'm making a deck, I'm searching a deck on purpose and then recreating it, or like making a full deck. I'm just not at that level of play yet.
Yeah.
I agree that it works great. But I just view them as such different platforms that I don't even consider the IRL card game rules to affect the digital card game rules.
Right, you're not that deep into the zeitgeist of it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of complexity to it, and I understand that like a lot of that is my fault for like not like inherently understanding it, or like taking the super time to like learn everything like that. But that's kind of like where I mean by making a distinction and making the digital platform a little bit more accessible from the physical platform.
Well, you can play it, but there's a difference between being able to play it and then being able to be good at it.
Yeah, it's just
essentially what you have to do. And I think I said this on Twitter too, is just go get a net deck. Just take a deck that someone's already pre-built.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then you just take that and then you just play it, even if you're misplaying it like crazy. You kind of just keep playing it and be like, did that work?
You learn it, yeah.
Oh, okay, I can summon this out if I put these 2 cards out. And then you you start learning new combos, and you're like, "What the fuck? I can." And then when you're at that point, you're like, "Okay, I can. If I play this card's right, and I send this to the graveyard, I can pop it back onto the field, and I can keep extending.
That's why
I can keep going further, and then because that's the beauty of like Yu-Gi-Oh is like you really can really push yourself and push with your knowledge, and then after that while after you like learn knowledge, when you learn how to play a deck. Yeah. Then you start understanding, like, I think I can change out cards here. I think I can, and then you start looking at other decks.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that effect would actually work pretty good. So then you take one card out, you add that card in, you run that a couple times. You're like, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're like, this works fucking fantastic.
I wish
figured
that
out
process was a little bit more easier for someone coming into the game, because that process doesn't necessarily happen.
I think
naturally.
Well, here's actually a good thing that you can do. You can use your own deck and you can go play a computer.
Yeah.
And then I
think
think
does that really well.
I think that is the best thing that they added with it, because this is how, because the way I used to practice decks was I would go into Duelist Legacy of the Duelist.
I would be happy if they gave me a lab. they gave me a lab mode.
The solo mode.
I would be a lot happier if they gave me a lab mode.
And actually, you know what I really want? I don't want a solo mode. I want a computer where I can crank up the difficulty and then I can actually select a deck that I want the computer to play me against.
You can face a computer, but I don't
call it the Kaiba simulator.
I don't think they do difficulty there.
Because I think that would be inherently the best place for players to learn a deck, learn the ins and outs of their shit, be able to crank that thing's difficulty up to make it gradually harder for them to practice over and over and over. I think that's a good strategy.
I think that answers the issue of accessibility that I have, because that's not punishing the player for wanting to learn. That's rewarding them for wanting to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting something out of it.
Maybe they don't necessarily get gems or something. Maybe you have to win it because they have to beat an opponent. But necessarily they're learning to get better themselves. Yeah. Now, not every player is going to do that, and they're going to strain out, which is where we come on your side of it. Just like if they don't want to fucking sit there and play the computer and get better themselves, then the game's is not meant for them.
Yeah, which is
this is a card game. This is a competitive. You're facing your opponent. You're trying to win.
We got to finish in like 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're almost wrapped up anyway. So then
are we over an hour? I wanted to be an hour.
Yeah, we're over an hour. We'll do it for the next one. We got passionate.
And then they'll strain out.
Yeah.
And then, but on this side is like, well, if they're willing to put in the time, then they can actually get good, and then they can, and then once you kind of get to that level where you're like, okay, I'm starting to understand it, then you're going to venture out. You're going to start reading forums. You're going to start to try to talk to other players. When you start reaching out to the community, you can kind of start seeing that's when the toxicity goes away a little bit. When you start asking like, hey, like I'm like, this card, will this card work good with this card?
Deck. And that's part of the community that I really enjoy.
That's the Discord community I doing my Dino deck. They help me.
So when you're not necessarily playing someone, when you're playing someone, that's when it can be toxic because you're trying to kill them, and they're trying to kill you. But when you're asking for help about, hey, can I make my deck better? And they're willing to work with you and then give you tips and tricks. Yeah. That's when it's wholesome.
That's when it's wholesome. But this comes to an issue of accessibility. Like, maybe we don't change anything about rank, but having the opportunity for a player to learn the game without getting punished for learning the game.
A computer.
Moral story. And regardless of your opinions on it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro's the answer.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is not the answer, though.
Yeah,
I completely disagree.
You know what your answer is? Essentially, I mean, it's just go play Legacy of the Duelist before you play an actual player.
No, I'm saying
play a computer a billion times and then get good.
What he's saying, like, less, like, for me, like, I got my ways, you got your ways, how you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro does that. You don't have to like the game or how it plays.
But there's not the computer in the game fucking sucks.
Yeah, I'm saying other than that, I'm not sure you can play computer, but I'm not sure.
Because that was my issue when I played it. It was like I had a fucking deck. I had a Drytron deck that I did not know how to run. If I got online, I would just lose because I didn't know how to use it. It was a fucking meta deck that would win
against the computer.
No,
that's what I'm talking about.
But the computer sucked. But like what you have to do, and it just inherently, it's just the format of the AI and everything fucking blew. But if I could play that game on Legacy of the Duelist where it looked clean and then all the things worked well, and I could not get like a prompt every time I actually just hold a button if I wanted the prompt to pop up, and it's just a little bit more, it's easier. But it just blew, dude. It fucking blew. You just admit to it, like it blew.
No, I didn't.
The AI blew.
No.
Everything about Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro except for the card list. Maybe the card list.
The card list solid.
Sucked as an experience.
Sure, like because they would just go in when a Japanese card translated.
I played the OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Like I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. I don't know the name of it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
I don't know. You got other than like people have shitty internet connections.
XRZ or something. It's just you like going straight to it, clicking the card, doing whatever.
Yes, and the things you like is also Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro too. Is what I'm saying.
But they're not though because
it's not official.
I was never at a point where I could access them. The UI was such a cost of entry for me. Like I didn't understand the UI.
Come on, Bryan.
It was bad, dude.
It's not that bad.
No, come on. The UI was bad.
It's not that fucking bad. You guys are overexaggerated.
You got 5 squares.
I'm being serious. It's not that fucking. If I can play it literally for 8 years straight, no issues.
Yeah, that's fine. You're built different than us as a player. I don't
Lego as janky as like.
Only problem it has.
MH2.
The only thing is it's ugly. That's it.
It's ugly and it didn't work well.
It's ugly and
there was no issues.
Dude, barely. It was held by strings together.
Yeah, it was
no
ugly
clean.
and activating effects and
You guys
learning
playing a
cards
different
and
game
everything
than
like
It
me.
that.
had an
was
awful
bad.
soundtrack.
Yeah, that's it.
was
But
bad.
it worked. And
It
had
worked
everything you
because we
had.
didn't have anything.
Had everything he wants, everything you want.
No,
everything
it
I
didn't
want.
have everything
Yes,
I
it
wanted.
did. Custom casual play servers, anime duels.
The
all of
computer
that.
wasn't great.
Shit sucks.
Yeah, but it had a computer. It had everything. You got everything. We literally.
computer was like-
regardless of all you guys' opinions about it, it had everything we argue about today. It
See,
did.
I don't. It may have it. I just don't think it's implemented.
It may not be like
It's not implemented. well.
optimized better than
How much
Yu-Gi-Oh!
time we got left?
Duel.
I'll give you 2 more minutes.
All right. Let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
We barely talked about Duel Links. Or not Duel Links.
We
didn't bring
talked
up
about
Duel
all
Links.
Master Duels.
Master Duels.
Duel sucked anyways.
Let's talk about like some new form.
Maybe we'll
Not
do a part
necessarily
2.
like. Let's talk about like some new playlists. So we've talked about like maybe adding a casual. Okay, that would be a good idea for
A
you
more
know.
streamlined casual experience.
Let's add some custom list to. I would like to see like only anime cards, only
You can do
only
preview
Exceeds cards,
a format list, like
A format list, yeah,
MTG
let's-
does it. MTG has standard, modern, and legacy.
right. Let's have and then like only links or only like this custom playlist or whatever. Let's have cross duels. Or not cross duels. That
duels.
is coming in the future. But let's have tag duels. Tag duels is awesome for 'em. And that would be a fun dick around
Yeah,
mode.
You can do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro too.
but it sucks. The experience sucks.
I understand that, Brian. I'm just saying that the options are there. That's
Let's
what I'm saying.
get off of it. Jesus.
No,
Get
'cause
off of her.
I'm always bring it up because the fucking game had it. We just want it here.
All right, we get it. You liked
Okay.
it.
All right, you get it. You hate it.
Yeah, no, let's go.
That's what we're saying. It's just
But, I'm saying
Yu-Gi-Oh!
the-
Pro has that, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is is a fundamentally worse
Fucking
experience.
stupid that official company can't get the things we already have there. That's my argument against it. Arguing against.
But Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is
Nothing. You should have it from the first get go.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is facilitating something.
You should have from the get go. There's
No,
no excuse.
Konami is not facilitating Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro players. Konami is facilitating the players that they're going to make money from. That's it.
I'm not saying about regarding. I'm sorry, the options of things.
Yeah.
You should have it there already.
It's,
I shouldn't have to wait months in for a fucking tag duel. What kind of shit is that?
It's just, it's
Or
just
casual,
update.
like
It's like
rank thing
it's
and
just a
casual. Rank and
service.
casual should be already been there. Why the fuck
I
did
agree
have
with
to-
casual, and casual
is
does
so
exist.
bad.
It's just not as streamlined as
Stupid.
ranked.
The game is good, but it's fucking flawed like hell.
It's
Very.
got flaws. It's not flawed like hell. I think most of the game I like and is fully functional and pretty spot on.
I ain't
think-
looking at latency frequency too, because some players have shitty internet. They need to find things for people.
They
that have
do need
connection.
a better netcode.
Yeah, netcode's awful.
Yeah,
It's actually terrible on Switch, from what I heard.
Switch is disgusting.
I heard it's terrible. On
I play
Switch.
solo in Switch only.
That is crazy. It is kind of crazy though that it's all crossplay. So that is fucking cool that someone could.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know how I feel about a mobile player. I'm on PC and I'm playing someone on mobile.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's really gonna work out well.
It don't even look right on the screen because it's so small. Maybe, I don't know. How would you do it?
I saw some UI things. It'll work. It's kind of like MTG on mobile.
Maybe that a tablet.
You said a feature
or
though
something.
of this game.
So the future. So let's just say future modes. So
oh,
you know,
mode,
yeah,
mode
let's
game.
mode. So like cross or some tag duels. That'd be cool.
Titles would be sick.
I would like to see that. Some casual modes would be awesome. Some playlist modes where you could go like, and then and then tournaments.
Tournaments are coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sure that
it's
they're
tournaments are gonna be
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Why?
That's what the events are, I think.
Never mind.
Are you gonna do tournaments?
I'm tired of arguing about it.
Are you gonna?
What were you going to say?
I'm just saying things that should already been there. But
But it's
the-
got to update.
The game dropped. This is the life as a service format. Like the game dropped, and
It's like look at Fortnite.
they're making sure that the game works,
well, that's
that the game
different.
plays.
It's not really a service. It's things that have in past games that was already there. It's not here.
They
Well, I
think
mean,
it's- they
well
make
for
a
what?
decision.
But like to loop back around where we were, this is pretty much just for tournaments. This is a platform they wanted to get. I think they wanted to launch this out before YCS.
It's like they just threw it and just
Es-
update over
es-
time.
essentially,
shouldn't
yeah.
be doing that though. The only thing should be updating is card and better like.
But essentially that's what they did because they just dropped it. They were like, okay, the game's done.
Yeah.
We have what we
and
what
they are really good at getting feedback and sort of listening to feedback. They've already fixed some issues that some players had with the game.
fix the
They've already
animation
couple
speeds too.
Animation speeds are great, man. What are you talking about?
I think they're not as bad as what Legacy of Duels was. Legacy of Duels, it's like fucking, it's like a 10-minute thing
I
when
can
you get
go
them.
wild with animations too.
But like,
turn this shit off.
yeah, they could speed it up, I guess. if you're seeing the same card come out like 20 times on your opponent's turn, I think when my cards come out, I'm like, oh sweet, I got my card out. But like when I see my opponent get their shit out, probably got some. Put my arm down. Yeah, I probably got some.
Sweating.
I gotta pee really bad. So let's go ahead and let's just. So generally, how we feeling about Master Duels?
I love it. I love the experience.
I can't get enough of it, and it seems like.
I think it's just a much. I want the little more casual accessibility options to be a thing that they add to accommodate people that have not been in the game for as long.
Okay.
But other than that, I feel like the game is
solid,
pretty spot on. I like that there's no chat. That's a good move.
It needs a chat.
No, it does not need a chat.
It doesn't need a chat. I remember Arena was. I was getting toxic. I was like, good game. GG.
Chat. See what they're doing. That's what I'm asking. I need a chat. You can turn it off if you want. Just give me an option to the chat.
You could turn it off. Yeah, that could be an option. You could put a chat in there and then have the ability to like see it or not.
Just ask for the bare minimum, man.
Arena had that too.
You're asking for a lot.
No, I'm asking for things.
You're asking for a lot of options that are like not easy to implement.
Say how do you?
It's a solid video game, but it can do way better.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It can be way better.
I enjoy it. I am generally blown away that it's actually like climbing out of the ground. Yu-Gi-Oh has been dead for fucking years, and I'm generally just overwhelmed with joy to see that like everybody's playing it.
Yeah.
It's caught in the eye of everybody. These huge streamers, these gaming organizations, they want to do.
I wonder how this casual people gonna last with this game.
I think this game. I think there's gonna be a threshold between players are kind of going to stick with it and players are going to dip. Because it happens every time. But this is the first time I've ever seen a game like Yu-Gi-Oh game come out and just blow up everywhere and it's big. And it seems like a lot of people are starting to kind of catch on with the mechanics and everything, which is good.
Yes.
You want them to stay. You want them to learn the mechanics and everything. But overall, I love the game. I play it like every day. And I'm just generally happy that people are giving it a chance to play the game.
I wonder.
Just thank you for just playing it.
Because I mean, I hate bringing it up, but Yu-Gi-Oh Pro, when they do like announce a card, someone translated it like a Japanese card, and they throw it in the game and option that you want to use it or not. No, I'm wondering how they're going to do that their way. Like a new card gets announced, it comes out. So let's say a new.
Well, they'll have to design like packs.
Once the whole set comes out.
So
because they'll have to do updates.
Too. It'll be in the game, but I think it'll be once the whole pack is out, not just the card.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that whole pack is out, so those cards going to be in that update too, or have to wait later?
It might be a little bit delayed because what they have to do is they have to go in, they have to model out a pack, they have to take that, and then they have to like design the code for it to go in there, and then you're going to have that one card, and then there's like 20 cards in the pack, and you have to. You're going to have to design a way how that card is going to interact with all 10,000 cards that are in the game.
Well, that's the hard part of balancing. But Magic the Gathering now does simultaneous release of sets.
Then it's possible.
If this game has a certain limit, I'm dropping it.
What do you mean a certain limit?
If it's not updating any further how I want it, if it sticks to the old formula they do, but the old other games they did before this.
What do you mean?
So back then, like the game you had,
Legacy of Duels,
it doesn't go where we at now.
Right.
This will happen. This will do it because it's a live as a service.
Right.
Is that confirmed? They're gonna do what?
No, that's what a live as a service is. It just constantly updates.
Yeah, that's why they're doing the same MTG.
That's what's
just dropping the new sets on it.
And that might have been why they went for a free to play.
Because
a free to play is. Since players are constantly buying gems, they're constantly getting revenue, which means the devs can give it constant support.
I mean, look at
that's why Fortnite is still kicking, but after it came out in 2015.
I don't know. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Links was so far behind with getting cards, so I hope they don't do the same.
Duel Links?
Yeah.
Duel Links are still not up to date.
Well, Duel Links is not nearly as big a player base as I
think Duel Links
traditionally.
But I think Duel Links actually did something nice. This has got to be the last thing we got to say because we're gonna have to fucking go.
It's an easier way
but Duel Links was like a good foundation for this game.
Yeah.
But they were slow with it's not meant to be traditional Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was slow with adding cards.
Right. And the mechanics and
do that.
I don't even think they had links.
Yeah, they did. Well, yeah, I think
or if they had links, it was like 2 or 3
came
cards.
way fucking late. So I hope this game doesn't be late with cards in the future.
Let's go ahead and end it because I'm literally going to piss my pants.
Yeah, do it on camera.
Okay.
Set it for the OnlyFans. Right on the table, Crockett. Anyway, but yeah, thank you guys all for watching.
Where's my bag?
You can find me on Twitter at Bryan Archilla and on Twitch at BryanBrowny. I'm streaming every Wednesday and Saturday now. Crockett, who's about to piss himself, you can find him on Twitter at CyberCalamity and on Twitch at CyberCalamity as well. Tay, you can find Tay on Twitter at _TayInfinite. I don't know, man.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for my mask. I can't find it.
And you can follow us on the Discord and pretty much every other podcasting app that's available. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.